sports, all plays. 365, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you to the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, they working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays.
And fellas, it is the latest edition of Fast Break. It appears y'all colluded and got your red together and didn't tell nobody.
Damn right. Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Y'all didn't send out the memo. Let me know. I got some red on upstairs. I can be a gang member too. If I need
you got red. You got red in the background.
Yeah.
That's nice. There you go.
All right, perfect. Well, we got Marcus with a new name, Marcus the Magic. Okay.
Oh yeah, I'm going by my podcast name and stuff like that.
Okay, all right. You got a podcast. You didn't tell us that. What's your podcast? Tell the
right behind you. Can't be surreal, my brother.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm in my office right now.
I didn't even realize that all this time you've been on with us, man. Okay. And Con Man told me he got a podcast too. He got a couple shows. So, Con Man, what you been doing?
Well, fam, the Con Man doing his thing. I got about 3-4 shows out there, trying to represent, trying to recognize individuals in my community, and I'm just doing a damn thing. I love my people, and that's what I do.
Love to hear it. Well, fellas, thank you for taking some time to be on the show here on this Friday night. The NBA has been kind of crazy. I was just kind of looking through. The Spurs are blowing out the Blazers. The Pistons are beating the Thunder, and two terrible teams that both should be trying to lose. The Clippers are blowing out the Bucks. Granted, I don't think a bunch of the Bucks are playing. Memphis is currently beating Phoenix without Ja Morant. The Rockets and Kings are in a close one, but who cares about those two teams? And then we got the Celtics were able to get ahead and beat the Pacers. So some non-competitive games, not the greatest matchups tonight. We got a Denver and Minnesota game that I'll probably tap into here now. If y'all don't get League Pass, is a really great option. Typically around Black Friday, they'll have a nice sale. But I love it. It allows you to watch all the games in HD. And you can stream it on like iPads and phones and things like that. But let's get to the business of the NBA. And speaking of, the Memphis Grizzlies and the run that they've been on here without Ja Morant, I think they're up to 18-2 and on their way potentially to 19-2 as they're up on Phoenix. Do you guys feel it's a bad look that Memphis has played so well without Ja Morant? And I'll start with you, Marcus.
I don't think so at all. If anything, that's the side of basketball. When you don't have your star player and you're still able to win without him, think about this for a second. If they're 18-2 without him, let's just take that through a whole 82-game span. You're looking at probably 74-16 right now. What is that? Or 74-18. Better than the Warriors, better than Chicago at this rate right now. That's awesome. I'm sorry. I'm a fan of like old school basketball, like, no stars, anything. Beautiful basketball is a beautiful basketball. And what Memphis is doing right now is beautiful basketball.
All right. Like to hear it. Con Man, you agree?
Absolutely. Let me tell y'all something real quick. The Grizzlies have won 6 in a row. They were 18-2 without Ja. And they're saying, what effect does Ja not playing have on Memphis? Let me tell y'all something real quick. Their bench is improving. They're deep. They're young. They're hungry. Y'all better watch out for Memphis. I'm telling y'all right now.
So I agree. I think it's a great thing that they can play as well, because we see a lot of times with teams with a ball dominant player that when that ball dominant player is out, people don't know how to act. They don't know how to function. They don't know how to fit. We've seen that with a bunch of different teams, but this team just picks right up where, he was out and dropped off. and they're currently up 11 with 3:50 left over Phoenix. Granted, they are at home, but there's a call that's currently under review. It looks like it might have been an offensive foul against Kyle Anderson.
Yep.
But I think that speaks to your point. Like, this team is dangerous. And I personally believe Phoenix is the best team in the NBA. The record speaks to it. The consistency speaks to it. But it's hard to ignore what Memphis has been doing and how well they've been playing with or without Morant. And I think the benefit to this is, unlike Golden State, who I think is going to have to potentially rush Steph and others back, Memphis won't have to rush Ja Morant back. They can wait until he gets healthy because the team's playing well enough without him. So I definitely think that is a benefit for them, to say the least. But I'm excited to see what they do. Kind of following up to that, though, obviously we said it's a good thing, and they did call it an offensive foul. Memphis has played really well, but so has Phoenix. If you guys had to pick today, who would your coach of the year be? Monty Williams, or I think it's Jaeger who's the coach in Memphis?
I would go with the coach in Memphis because, to your point right now, is like when you don't have a drop off, when your superstar or your star player is going, and you're still winning the games without them. And the way they played the Nets the other day, just let me know how good they are, because they was up like 20 some points, lost the lead, came back in the fourth quarter and won that game.
And it's Taylor Jenkins, just to clarify. I apologize.
Okay. So therefore, like, you have to have your coaching has to be on point to have them guys cool, calm, and collected. To lose a lead, then go down, then come back to win the game. Like, that shows a lot about that team and about the coaching staff. So I would give it to Memphis, coach for coach of the year, because nobody's seen that coming.
Fair enough. Con man, what you think?
You know something? I don't like to agree with my man Marcus, but know something? He's on point. He is on point. For real. Now, nobody expected Memphis to do what they're doing. Phoenix went to the finals last year. Memphis is, they are just playing beyond what anybody expected them to be. And I think it has a lot to do with the coaching and the structure of Memphis. So to answer your question, I'm going to roll with the Memphis coach because they're playing so well at the right time. And they're playing without how many teams you know that can play without their superstar and win like that?
I think the unique thing about Memphis, of the quote unquote great teams, they're the only great team with just one superstar. And I don't consider Ja Morant to be a superstar, but I also think that kind of plays into their ability to have success when he's out, is because it's just one person missing. And the way in which he plays, I think it keeps others involved, even if his numbers don't say he has a ton of assists and things like that. But I disagree with both of y'all.
What? What?
I got to hear this.
You heard me.
I got to hear this.
So I get it. Memphis, great story, right? Great story. But we've seen a bunch of teams go to the finals and fall off the next year. Because you got to remember, when you go to the finals, you play the most games of anybody. So not only do they go to the finals, but Phoenix has had a number of health issues also. You forget Chris Paul was out for almost 2 months. Mikal Bridges has missed time. They have had other people step up in the absence. They've got Bismack Biyombo looking like the Dikembe Mutombo.
Correct. Yeah. True that.
And again, Memphis is a great story, but coming into tonight, Phoenix was 8.5 games better than Memphis, who's the second best team in the league. Phoenix just had a franchise record for wins in the season with about 6 or 7 games still left to go. There's a great chance that Phoenix will get to 65 wins this year. And I don't know if anybody else will even get to 60. And I'm trying to pull it up here quickly.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right.
That. But there has to be some kind of reward for greatness. Yeah, Phoenix is at 62. Memphis is at 54. So Memphis likely will not get to even 60 games, and Phoenix might be well above 60. And so, yes, great story. But the same way you said Memphis has won 6 in a row, Phoenix has won 9 in a row. And they're both 9-1 in their last 10. But
Correct.
one team has 14 losses and the other has 23 losses. So I think Taylor Jenkins and what Memphis has done has been phenomenal. But at the same time, Monty Williams should be coach of the year, and it shouldn't be that close. Like,
Well, Ray, sometimes you gotta look at the writings on the wall, Ray, and that'll tell you that you could disagree, but the fact saying right now that Phoenix and Memphis might be the teams to beat in the West. Like sometimes it just takes 1 year to get where you need to go. Just look at Phoenix in the bubble. Now I don't know if Chris Paul made that change or not, but you can see in the bubble that Phoenix was on the turnaround. And then they brought it this year, well, last year, and then they bringing it this year. So now you got to think about it. So in the West, you're probably going to have Phoenix, Memphis, Dallas, Denver, Warriors. In the West coming up. Then you're going to have Phoenix and Memphis as your top 2 teams to beat in the West for the next 5-6 years, maybe. So might be a good story this year, but Memphis is not Atlanta. Atlanta was a good story.
I hear you. But I would also say if we're going to give Memphis a bunch of credit for overachieving, I don't think we've given Dallas enough credit because Luka's been in Dallas with who?
No, that's true. Nobody.
Well, yeah, Porzingis about 2-3 weeks ago, right?
Let's understand that Kristaps Porzingis is not that guy.
No,
no. I agree.
But you look at what Memphis has done compared to what Dallas has done. Dallas has always been in that 6-7 range.
But Dallas is now in the 4 seed.
Okay,
and they're tied with the Warriors, so they'll probably end up as the 3rd seed.
So that's what I said. That's why I said look out for Phoenix, Memphis, Dallas, and Denver. Maybe the Warriors, but they get too old in my book. So
I think the Warriors window's closed. You heard it here first.
I agree.
Windows has closed.
All right, fellas. I'm gonna keep it real. Of all the teams you named, name one team that has a max player. Well, that does not have a max player. Memphis.
Oh, John gonna get there.
Yeah, I mean that's.
I'm saying right now. Next
year, Memphis will have a max player, and his name is.
Yes, I'm talking about right now, Bob. Right now.
Okay.
They're young, they're hungry, and they ain't getting paid.
I would have to check. I think Dylan Brooks got paid, but he's not like a max.
No, he's not a star or a superstar, but he makes when it plays. So
yeah, and him coming back from his injury, they're gonna be more difficult to beat because he's such great defensively.
That's why
that's even more of a reason to me why Phoenix is impressive because Phoenix had to pay people. And so they've had less money to go around, and they had to make tough decisions by not paying DeAndre Ayton and choosing to pay Mikal Bridges, and they still are playing at a really high level, and not just check.
That's correct. Yes.
Dylan Brooks is only making $35 million over 3 years, so it's not.
Yeah, that ain't much. No, you're right.
It's a lot for us, but not in the context.
Yeah, you're right.
So I don't even know how they're near the salary cap because they got to be paying somebody. Is Chandler Parsons still on their books?
He might be. Who knows? He might be.
I thought they bought him out. And did he retire?
Yeah.
I ain't heard from him. I don't know anything about him.
So I don't know who they paying on this roster now that I think about it because I think there's a salary floor you got to hit. But
I think we'll raise up next year for his contract extension.
Yeah. But no, I think in any other year, in a non-record breaking year, I think Memphis' coach is definitely coach of the year. But that if it continues to, like this is a huge game, and it looks like Memphis is going to win. Actually, just turned it over. It's 8-point lead. Booker shoots, and he just hit a 3, so now it's a 5-point game with 55 seconds left.
Okay,
that's still a game.
So depending on how this ends, but I think Memphis will close this out. But if Phoenix ends the year, 8-9 games clear Memphis, I think it's hard to give coach of the year to the second place team based on how great Phoenix has looked from start to finish this year, but we will definitely see what comes of it. But I definitely hope we get a Memphis Phoenix conference finals.
Oh, that'd be great. That would be
the matchup.
See, for coach of the year though, that criteria is basically who the media likes, I believe, because you can look at it two ways. Phoenix was in the same spot last year, doing with it with Monty Williams. I think he got robbed last year, and you can look at his Memphis coming from what the play last year to the number 2 seed.
It's a big jump.
It was a big jump. So I mean, it can go either way. I won't be mad at whoever wins it because they all going to deserve it this year. Because there's so many candidates for coach of the year, I think that whoever gets it deserves it either way.
I'm with you.
Absolutely. So moving to a team that definitely has a coach that is not winning coach of the year, and the Los Angeles Lakers.
Oh.
It has been a disaster of a year.
Yeah.
I said months ago that the LA Clippers would have a better record than the LA Lakers, and I look all but assured of that here soon. But we got to be honest. The Lakers might miss the play-in. Like, they extended the play-in to 10 teams, and with AD, Russ, and LeBron, and Melo, they might miss the play-in tournament. So, fellas, I'll start with you, Con Man.
Yes, sir.
Will the Lakers make it even into the play-in?
Absolutely. 100%. 100%. AD's back.
What that mean?
They play the Pelicans tonight. Absolutely.
And how long is AD back? That's the real question.
But now that's a good. I don't know how healthy he is, but you know something? I believe that they will make the play. How far they go, I don't know. But let me tell you something. LeBron, I got to roll with my boy. I'm rolling with him. And with AD, I think they'll make the play-in. I ain't going to say much more than that, but they'll make the play-in.
Okay. You heard it here first. Con Man says that the Lakers will make it into the play-in without a doubt. Booker just hit another 3 to get it back within 5 after Dylan Brooks had got an and 1. So it's a 5-point game with 28.9 seconds left. Marcus, your turn.
See, Ray, that's a tough one for me, Ray, because by default they might just get in because San Antonio probably only got to lose They probably got to lose 2 out of the next 5 games, I believe.
Right.
And then they get in. And then if the Lakers win 2 out of the next 5, they get in the 10th spot. Or if the Pelicans just drop the next 5, they get in. So by default, I think they just get in only because the strength of San Antonio and the Pelicans.
Well, then just for clarity, the Pelicans are in the 9th spot at 33 wins. The Lakers and Spurs are tied at 31 wins, but the Spurs are currently up 34 in the 4th quarter over Portland.
Well, yeah,
that looks to be a done deal.
Right.
And so we would potentially find ourselves in tonight's game. If the Lakers lose, the Pelicans are pretty much free and clear.
Right, they're free and clear.
Just chasing the Spurs.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I think that San Antonio got the tiebreak over Los Angeles. So therefore, like I said,
they don't have the tiebreaker over the Pelicans or the Spurs.
Right. So what is it? 5-6 games left?
I think after tonight it'll be 6.
Right. So therefore, that if San Antonio lose 3 out of the next 6, then and the Lakers win 3 out of the next 6, they pretty much automatically in. And then the Pelicans, let's just say they lose the next 4 out of 6, then they fluctuate with LA from 9 to 10.
Okay.
The only person that's really controlling their destiny will be San Antonio and the Lakers, but just by default, I think the Lakers get in because San Antonio. Well, no, I think they're not going to make it because the Lakers' schedule is just tougher than San Antonio's. And
speaking of the schedule, I'm glad you mentioned that. The Lakers have the Pelicans tonight. Then they have the Nuggets come visit them.
Yep.
They go to Phoenix. They go to Golden State. They get the Thunder and finish at Nuggets.
So I see possibly 2 wins for the Lakers in the next 6. So no, they don't get in.
So it's uphill. Phoenix might rest people, maybe, depending on where they're at, because they should have the top seed locked. They have home court throughout locked up.
Yeah, they had that locked up already. So,
but they got everybody playing tonight. So I don't know. You could catch Phoenix on an off night.
I think they're going to rest their players the last 3 games.
The Warriors likely will be playing their players because they're down to 4th, and they could almost, as it stands, they could actually, if they went on a slide, they've lost 7 of their last 10.
Mm-hmm.
If Minnesota wins enough, the Warriors actually could slide into the play-in tournament.
Okay.
They are 5 games up, so it's unlikely, but they would need the play to keep out of that play-in tournament. And even as it stands, if they were to drop to the 6th seed, they would likely end up playing the Mavs. Versus if you stay at the 5 or 6, you get the Jazz or Nuggets, which are
let me say this. That's probably going to be a little controversial, but y'all know me.
Talk to us.
So therefore, I think the Lakers will have more motivation if Memphis stays in that 2nd spot to get into the play-in, because even if the Warriors was at that 3 spot, 2 or 3, I can see the Lakers beating Memphis and Golden State in the playoffs.
I'm with you, bro. I'm with you.
Real quick, because I made the same error, Marcus. If you are in the 9 or 10 seed, the highest seed you can get is 8.
8, okay.
So
my fault then. So no,
I did the same.
The Pelicans are the Grizzlies, right?
So yeah, so you're right. So yeah, there's no motivation for the Lakers to try to win because they have to be
the Spurs or Lakers will likely be playing Phoenix in the 1st round.
Yeah, so there's no motivation there. I thought they would automatically.
Yeah, you're right.
There's no motivation.
I agree with you on that one.
But yeah, Memphis or the Warriors was in the top seed, I think the Lakers would have been more motivated to play, try to finish it out and win a playoff game if the Warriors or Memphis was the top seed. So I can see them beating them in a 7-game series.
For sure. And I guess in that, and so if we just continue to keep playing devil's advocate here, if the Warriors fell to 7, so they were in the play-in, which, like I said, would be a long shot. But if they did, and then the Clippers beat them, then the Warriors would play the winner of the 9-10 game, which could be the Lakers. And then the Lakers could sneak into the 8 seed, and then the Warriors would miss the playoffs. Absolutely crazy.
Here's my thing about that, because I feel as though Clay was 100% healthy, he would have been carrying them. I don't know if they would be losing 6-7 games in a row, but I think he would have kept them up in that third to second. That 3rd seed. I think that's where they at now, right? They're the 3rd seed or the 4th seed.
The Warriors
are 3rd. They're 3rd.
Yeah, so Clay will be able to keep it up, but without Steph there, boy, it's hard. It's hard.
I don't remember if it was on this show or the other show I'm on, but I've made it abundantly clear. Clay is not a number 1. He's a number 2. And this has shown me, I don't even know if Clay's a dominant 2 at this stage in his career. I would be very curious. I think Clay, Kawhi, and Harden are hitting a point in their career where they're no longer superstars.
So you're saying they reached their plateau?
They've hit the summit, and I think they're on their way down. I think Clay, because he's a catch and shoot guy, he can extend his career. But as a 2-way player, I don't think he's that anymore. I've watched him try and guard people, and he can't guard anybody.
No, I think he's more hesitant, or he's thinking about his leg than anything. Yeah. It might be more mental for him right now, but no, he's not the 2-way player he used to be. So no.
But I just think that like I said to start the show, I think the Warriors window has closed, and Clay is 32.
So yeah.
So he's getting up there, and I think I think his best days are long gone. I will be curious to know, what that team looks like next year because they're going to have a couple contract decisions to make and decide. But I think Wiggins can step into that Clay-ish role, and I think you might want to look at what you can if you can get out from under that Clay contract because I think they gave him a max deal some time ago. But him and Draymond as well. Lump Draymond into that group. Draymond was out of shape. He's been trying to get back, but I think they got a long way to go. So we will definitely see. But man, that would be crazy if the Warriors end up in the play-in and let LeBron be able to put them out.
Yeah.
That
would be an ending to the Warriors.
That would definitely be
That'd be a story to tell.
Yes, sir.
And following up to the Lakers, since I think I disagree. I don't know if I don't think the Lakers make it in. I think that schedule is just too brutal. And that team is too inconsistent. Mm-hmm. And the same thing we've talked about for a while with teams integrating players. Those three weren't playing great together as is. And so now Russ has kind of found himself a rhythm. A lot of people aren't talking about it or giving him credit. But he's been playing over the last 2 weeks.
But they've been balling. They've been losing.
I mean, yeah, they've definitely been losing. Mm-hmm. But he's been playing better. And so I will be very curious. I don't know if they've confirmed if LeBron's playing tonight, but I'm pretty sure he is. AD is playing. This is a huge game.
Absolutely.
Who comes out aggressive? Do you come out and try and play through AD? Do you let LeBron get going because he's been going? Do you try and play through Russ, get the ball in his hands? Like, Melo is out, so I think Frank Vogel has a heck of a job trying to figure out how to start this game and reintegrate Anthony Davis into this lineup and how the offense is going to flow and who's going to flow through.
Well, I think that LeBron's going to take it upon himself to set the tone. I think he's going to come out and try to set the tone to get the team comfortable. I think he's going to then interact with AD as far as the in and outside game. But I think LeBron's going to come out with a very aggressive play in the beginning of the game.
Okay. Well, we will definitely be watching in that. But with that being said, let's assume we can actually assume both ways. Let's assume the Lakers don't make the play-in, and we can assume the Lakers go on a run and make it into the play-in. Okay. If they do not make it into the play-in, which of the big three do you think will not be a Laker next year? And I'll start with you, Conman.
None of them. They'll all be there. I know I shocked y'all, huh? I'm shocking y'all, huh? First of all, I did that on purpose, y'all. I'm going to tell you why.
Make the play-in, you're saying they're all coming back?
Yes. I'm going to tell you why. Hear me out. Hear me out. How much money does Westbrook make?
I think he'll be $47 million next year.
47
I
million.
rest my case. Only way that Westbrook can go is either sign and trade or get cut. You think they're going to do either one? And who
cut him? So they got to trade him.
Okay, now who's going, based on his year that he's playing right now, who's going to take that opportunity to lose so many picks or so many players to pick up a guy who Westbrook, that's my name, Westbrook, who's going to do that in order to ruin their future? So my guess is he will stay because they got no other choice. I know that sounds crazy, y'all, but think about
it. Can you trade him to Detroit for Jeremy Grant?
Not one up, not straight up.
Jeremy Grant, I think, is on a max deal too.
Not like Westbrook.
No, I don't think he's making $44 million. So you
have hell no.
You have to send another player.
Exactly.
I mean, you can, package maybe some picks or stuff like that. I'm trying to see.
To who?
Oh yeah, Grant's making like $20 million.
All right, to who? Who's gonna want to take Westbrook?
I mean, we see because Westbrook is in the last year of his deal, so it's an expiring contract. Bad teams take on bad contracts all the time because it's the last year. That's why I was trying to find a bad team you could send them to. Orlando, I don't think Orlando makes that deal.
No.
Indiana has Halliburton at point, so you don't make that deal.
Right? Think about it, y'all. Think about it. They can't do nothing with him.
And he wouldn't
Cut him or trade him.
He wouldn't fit in New York, even if you got Randall back, because Randall and AD can't play together.
No, he's a mess.
Can you send him back to OKC?
You can send him back to OKC, but who you get in return?
I don't know who they send back.
Right.
That might be the only one. But then OKC would be giving up their future.
And they got SGA, who is a point guard who needs the ball.
OKC still got more draft picks than anybody in the NBA right now. So they
Really?
can afford to give away more draft picks.
They might be stuck with him. I'm looking at the team.
Now y'all feeling me, huh?
Well, no, because if I was Lakers, I'd do a Luol Deng and just cut him and just pay him.
But you can only amnesty people every couple years. Are they out of that 5-year window? I think that
they should be.
I don't think so.
He was signed before Kobe retired.
But when did they amnesty him? Because I think it's from the time of the amnesty.
I want to say Kobe.
I think he got a 4-year deal, right? Him and
he got a 4-year deal.
Him and the big Mozgov both got paid the same.
Yeah, but I think he was making like 4 years. I think he was making like $30 million.
Yeah, he was making a ridiculous amount.
Yeah, he just sat. So I think they're in that window where they can cut him right now. They can cut Westbrook.
All right, family. What y'all think? Would you, not as a player, not as a teammate, not as a coach, as an owner, would you take the chance on spending your future on AD now?
No.
Thank you.
I would trade AD too. Matter of fact, I would trade LeBron.
Who would trade
to who?
I would trade him.
Everybody's taking LeBron.
Yeah, I take him as a Sixer right now with James Harden and Embiid.
Think of this. All right, just go here with me, guys.
I'm ready to roll on this one. Let's go.
A proposition.
All right, let's roll.
LeBron James gets traded to the Brooklyn Nets for Ben Simmons.
Lakers would be a fool to do that deal.
Contracts don't match.
Ben Simmons makes a bunch of money.
Yeah, Ben Simmons.
Not like LeBron.
Ben Simmons up there in that 30 mil range right now.
He's up there. He's not like LeBron though.
But it only has to be within a certain percentage. Let me see. Ben Simmons is 5 years, 170 million.
Yeah, so he up there.
His average salary is 35, so I think he works.
He's up there. Yeah, he's up there with LeBron.
Do you think the Lakers would do that? He can't even play right now. He's injured.
Let's reverse that. Let's do LeBron and Kyrie to LeBron and Kyrie get traded for each other. Then you put Durant and LeBron on the same team.
Ooh,
that would work.
That'll work because you can send some
you
draft picks.
KD and Kyrie, you're not going to get the best of one of them via trade.
Yeah,
I wouldn't want to rock that boat.
I don't see that. I don't see that.
Why not trade LeBron?
He got 1 year left. He had expired contract too. LeBron is.
Yeah, and so you get one run, KD, Kyrie, LeBron, and then LeBron leaves the next year to go play with his son. If his son can step his game up and get drafted.
But Ray, the problem is you're talking about Ben Simmons. He ain't never stepped on the court in like what 2 years. So why are you gonna get Ben Simmons? He ain't play yet.
It'll be just 1 year.
But he would have a whole off season to recover from his back surgery.
Back. I hear you. Back. I hear you.
And then you would have imagine, the team would be awful shooting, but you'd have Russ, Ben, and AD. It's a high-powered offense. They would be getting up and down the floor.
All right. And so we're gonna do
you gotta get something back for LeBron because you're going to lose LeBron for nothing.
Now the Lakers have got a lot of guys who have been around the league for like 800 years. They're on minimum contracts.
All those guys are gone. They're all gone next year.
Oh, I'm sure they are.
Malik, they might bring Malik Monk back, but all those other 1 year guys, they all go to Brooklyn with LeBron.
Or you could just, if I was Houston, I would take back Russ to get John Wall off my hands. Send him to LA.
He ain't doing a damn thing anyway.
Those contracts match up just fine.
So
And I
now
will
we're
let
running
John
with
Wall run with LeBron and AD, and you'll have a totally different way of looking at the Lakers because John Wall can get to the lane, he can pass better. I think he got more left in the tank than West. I think Westbrook's going to decline. Once you lose that athleticism, there's no way in the world that you causing self turnovers like he does and missing point blank bunnies at the rim like he do.
They're crazy.
Right.
Yeah.
I'll be watching the highlights that they show on the shows, and the way he be losing the ball or the way he gets to the rim, it just like I can make more layups than he can right now in the NBA. If I
believe
had
that.
that
I
lane.
believe that. I believe that.
So I think I just go for John Wall. I see what Houston wants, or you just cut him and just eat the money because I think it'd be addition by subtraction with the Lakers.
Okay. Well, I just I threw it out there, see what you guys think. But I think,
and nobody wants no more of the three superstars right now. I'm sorry. The way the league is right now is balanced, it's perfect, it's watchable, it's enjoyable. I don't want to see LeBron, KD on the same team unless they're on the All-Star game. And I'm not a big fan of Kyrie to begin with. Like he's overrated.
What? I would love to see it.
Well, in my opinion, me being the old dog in the group, I think that having the three superstars, what it does do because of the max contracts, it does not help you getting more players. You're going to end up getting a 1-year veteran players at the minimum. It's not going to help your team in future. So when you get these three max superstars, but you have nothing to show for it.
But Brooklyn's current bench is relatively deep with, Joe Harris, Seth Curry.
Joe Andre Drummond. What the Sixers did with Andre Drummond, that was a big mistake, man. Good.
Yeah. Hey, the Nets, they don't have nobody on the bench. Joe Harris.
We suck.
He'll be back next year.
Next year.
That's what we're talking about. Did he? He got so upset.
He'll be back in probably.
Yeah, I'll get him going.
But that Ben Simmons trade, though, I just don't see it for the Lakers. I don't even. Right now, Ben has proven that nobody will want him in the NBA right now.
Oh man. Okay. Well, we'll see. But speaking of people returning, the Lakers have a couple coming back tonight. The Clippers had the return of Paul George, and he came back and had a huge game one back. The second game back, they collapsed and blew a big lead. But what do you think that impact is for the Clippers that have Paul George back? Does that do anything for their playoff run, or are they basically a first-round exit?
They're a first-round exit. I'm sorry. Like, when I watch the Clippers game on TV in regards to who playing, this goes to show that Tyronn Lue is a great head coach. So now when you bring back a star, because I never thought Paul George was a superstar, now that you bring back a star that's more ball dominant than most, granted, I think he had a 34-point game in his first game back, and then they blew that 25-point lead the other night. Yep. I think for coaching, it's kind of a relief when you don't have the star on the team, then you're able to coach. And now with Paul George back, now everybody's playing out of position in a sense. Now your rotations get different. Players that would normally have the ball in their hands at a certain time are not able to score as much. And then the ball is pretty much stopping with Paul George to a certain degree. He's not as ball dominant as James Harden. But once you bring back the one player, then you can see how it affects the other players when they're not there. Because their touches get different, the way they play the game is different, their defense might be different because they're not touching the ball as more. So I think that Paul George coming back makes them a first-round exit, regardless.
Okay.
He pretty much does nothing for the team because they was a first-round exit with him or without him.
Oh man. I respect it. comment. We were saying, does Paul George's return make any difference for the Clippers, or are they still a first round exit?
You know something? I love my man Marcus, but he's wrong. No, you're wrong, bro. Paul George is one of the best players in the NBA. He's been out for a long time. I think he has depth. I think he has more offensive power to the Clippers. Do I think they're going to make a strong run? No, I don't. If they had Kawhi, yes. They don't. But Paul George, his first game back, he gets, 34 points? Am I right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I think he adds a great deal to the team. He's one of the, although he's not very boisterous, I think he's a great leader for the team. I think he has a positive effect on the team. Do I think they're going to go anywhere? No. But I think he'll help them as opposed to him not being there. How about this? Is he on the team or not? If he's playing,
he'll help them win one extra game. So instead of getting swept, they'll get to game 5, and they'll still be a first round exit.
I'm not going to argue with that. I'm not going to argue with that.
So he doesn't really move the needle. I'm sorry, because you could just see from Indiana to OKC, he doesn't move the needle for your team.
But you know something? That is the major thing about those type of players, like a James Harden or a Paul George or some of the players like that caliber who never get to that next level.
Well, we have seen James Harden get to Western Conference Finals. Paul George with Roy Hibbert, did they make it to the Eastern Conference Finals? They did, right?
They did.
And got beat by Miami. Okay.
Yeah, okay. Exactly. Yeah, right.
So, but I think the talent in Indiana at the time was more what the NBA times was when they did that in the East compared to what he does now. So,
okay,
I don't think Paul George just moves the needle. No, he's just not that. Hell, I didn't even think Kawhi moved the needle when they won the title in with the Raptors. Was it an upgrade from DeRozan? Maybe on the defensive end. But I don't know if Kawhi really moved the needle because they was pretty much doing that, winning at the same time.
I don't know about that, dog. I don't know about
like
that.
How they beat my Sixers, it was just.
I'm sorry about that, bro. I'm sorry about that. But yeah, you know.
So I don't know if he really makes a difference like that for Paul George. He's still a first round exit.
Okay. I agree. I don't even, to be perfectly honest, I think if they have to end up playing New Orleans in that second playing game, because I think Minnesota beats them, I think they might find themselves not even in the playoffs, to be perfectly honest. I think New Orleans is currently playing better than the Clippers. Granted, I think tonight they had a huge win. I think they put up 153 against the Bucks tonight, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, they put up 153. PG did not play tonight, but Robert Covington, oh my God. I don't know if you guys saw this. Robert Covington put up 43 and went 11-15 from 3.
What?
You see what I'll tell you about? When you got a rotation without your star player, everybody plays differently. The ball moves better.
Coffee played 30, put up 32 and 43 minutes.
Wow, I didn't know that. Wow.
They caught the Bucks on a back-to-back. The Bucks had a brutal schedule this past week.
Yeah. For Milwaukee, but still, jeez.
Yeah, for Robert Covington to put up 43, that might be a career high.
It has to be. That's probably a career high.
I think the most he put up for the Sixers was 30, maybe 20, maybe 20.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, I think that's a career high right there.
Absolutely.
My God. Now 43 is a lot.
That's a whole lot for him. Yeah.
So shout out to the Clippers, but they ain't beating, I think, the Pelicans or the Timberwolves or whoever they have to play. So yeah, we'll see. We're definitely getting closer to that, but I do want to take time. Mr. Marcus, the Magic, I see the Philadelphia 76ers shirt. So I'm going to start with you on this.
Okay.
What the heck's going on with James Harden? And Doc called him out.
You know what? For me personally, I'm glad I don't get to watch the games because I work at night. Because I probably would have broke about 4 or 5 TVs, replaced them, and broke 4 or 5 more. But I expect that from James Harden because when he first got there, he wasn't really comfortable. But then I'm not even gonna put that on. I blame most of this stuff on Doc Rivers. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Like I wasn't a fan of Doc Rivers, his coaching. I don't know what's going on. Like since the Boston times, his coaching just been downhill. He doesn't know when to call timeouts. His substitution patterns suck. It's just a whole lot going on, and it's not just James Harden. Like sometimes I believe that we got to save players from their players, and that's when coaching come in at. When you see James Harden dribbling the ball too much, the ball's not moving, the B standing in the corner, not hitting the post, man, call a timeout. Get him out of there. Get Maxey in there. Get Shake Milton in there. Like, give Shake some more burn. Like, Shake has proven time and time again that if you put him in there, he can get the job done. So has Maxey. So if you see Harden struggling, just pull him out. The money shouldn't be a problem when it comes to winning. So I'm just hoping. My thing is, I'm looking as that they're doing their best to stay in that third spot, so they can just go from playing the 6th seed, and then in the second round they'd avoid the first. They'd avoid Milwaukee or Brooklyn, whoever gets there, and then they'd be playing the winners out of the 2nd and 5th seed. So I think that's how I'm looking at it. That they're trying to stay their best in that third spot. That'll give them a better chance of getting to the Eastern Conference Finals if they just stay there. So that's how I'm looking at it. I might be wrong on what James Harden is doing. I just don't see us getting out the first round. Maybe the second. It's just not enough. There's not enough there between Harden and Embiid. It's still not enough firepower. So we have no bench. Really, Max might give you a third scoring option, but he's more like Lou Williams to me. Bring him off the bench, let him get hot, and do his thing. We ain't going past the second round.
That's tough. Con man, what do you got? What's going on with James Harden?
Well, you know something, fellas? Quiet as kept. You got Doc Rivers calling out James Harden. You got Embiid calling out Doc Rivers. So, I mean, at this time of the year.
Whoa. I missed that. What did he say?
He called him out. He said that he sat too long. He said he sat too long. And when Milwaukee went on that run, he said he sat too long and that he should have came out earlier in the fourth quarter to stop that run, basically.
Oh, I didn't hear that. They didn't report that part. But okay. I mean, I don't disagree. Definitely don't disagree at all. But and I know we was getting Con Man's point. He ghosted us. But no, I think it's what I said earlier, and I saw a report that said people around the league believe James Harden just hit the wall. He was super ball dominant for so long. He's hit the ground a bunch in his career. He's got fouled a lot in his career. And with the way that they're now refereeing, I think a lot of his advantage is gone. And I think we're seeing similar to Russ when you lose the explosiveness and the ability to get to the rim and finish at the rim or play through contact. He's above average, but he's not a superstar. And so to your point, I think it depends on matchups for sure, but I agree. I think at right now they're the 4 seed. So if they get Chicago, they're going to beat Chicago.
Yeah, we'll beat Chicago.
If they'll win the first round. Anywhere in the 4, as long as they stay at 4, I think they're good. 4 or 5. I think if they fall to 6 and they got to run into Boston, Milwaukee, or potentially Miami, I think the first round might be looking like the max. But as long as they get Chicago or Toronto, I think they move on comfortably because neither of those teams can do anything with Embiid. I think Embiid averages 35 and 13 versus Chicago or Toronto.
Hey, man, I think he's averaging 30 and 13 now, just balling. So yeah. It's like I've been saying, I would have waited they got Harden in the offseason. They just gave up too much because just like Dallas and Memphis, you only had one star, which was Embiid, before we got Harden, and we was rolling. I'm just not saying I'm not a fan of Harden. I just know what he brings to the table, and if he dribbles the ball out like that, the ball's not moving, then the B's going to not want to do what he does, and I don't see it working right now.
Okay. Comment: how far you got Philly going in the playoffs? As it
I've been thinking about it, and I was watching some shows this morning, and James Harden's fourth quarter production is horrendous. His minus turnovers is horrendous. They gave up so much to get him. I think if he can step up to the plate, because we all know his reputation now is regular season, he's cool. When it comes time to play the real games, he don't shine. So Embiid is taking it upon himself to make them a winning team. That's why he called out Doc Rivers. I know, boss, you didn't know that, but yeah, he called out Doc Rivers about the rotation.
I was looking that up.
All right. So they gave so much to get him, and now Doc Rivers is already putting him out on blast. And the locker room is not going well. So I think they'll get by the first round. Originally, I had them going because I thought that would be a great addition. I thought the inside-outside game would be great for them to proceed, but there's a lot of stuff going on now in the locker room. So unless that gets straightened out, they're out. Yeah,
no, I think we're all in agreement with where it stands. They got a lot of work to do. But we got one last thing, and Chris is not here to defend his man, but we'll still do this topic in honor of Chris and all that he means to this show. And
yes, he does.
His beloved Chris Paul, who has moved up the steals list. I don't even know. He's moved into the top, I think maybe fourth. He moved up to fourth. He passed the great Gary Payton on the steals list for fourth. I don't really care. He's not even top three. But do you guys have a reaction to this empty feat that nobody really cares about?
I'm going to give it the same energy I gave LeBron passing Karl Malone. I mean,
Colin.
As you all know, my favorite player of all time is Isaiah Thomas, the real one, not the fake one, the real one. And I'm keeping it real. Chris Paul has had a distinguished career. He's a leader. He's helped the NBA out from an old school perspective, like I am old school. But he's been known to be hurt in the biggest games of his career. If you look at all the teams he's played with, he's always hurt when it counts most. But he's had a distinguished career. He's going to be a Hall of Famer. And he's doing so many great things off the court, which y'all probably don't know, but I know.
Oh, yeah, I know about his HBCUs and all that.
He just got nominated.
Okay, good. All right, cool. All right. So I'm going to give him his props. But I feel, I don't want to say this, y'all, but I feel he's going to get hurt. Again.
Okay. Well, I don't know. I want to hope for the best.
Hey, Chris is going to get mad at me. Hey, yo, Chris is going to probably block me or something. It's all right.
Chris can't get mad because we tell the truth.
Right.
Goddamn right. Absolutely right.
I'd be trying to educate my man, and he was talking all that Chris Paul this, Chris Paul that. And when Chris Paul went down, Phoenix got better, and Devin Booker just elevated his game.
Exactly, yes. Don't tell him that, though.
If he would come on the show, I'd tell him.
I know where he at. Where he at?
He's talking about I got internet trouble. He knew it was coming. As soon as we got to
Yeah,
this
of course he did.
So he ducking us just like Chris Paul be ducking the playoffs. Always giving got them excuses. But nonetheless, congratulations to Chris Paul. Top 4 all time is great, even with all the injury history. He's a good point guard. He's done some good things and he's got some steals. He's still a dirty player to me.
Of course.
But he got his steals, so I'll give him that. But before we get out of here, did you guys have anything else? Anything else you guys want to talk about before we close the show?
Yes, I wanted to thank all y'all for having me on the show. I enjoy it tremendously. Ray, you are the man, and my man Marcus is the man.
Yes,
and
sir.
I'm very happy to be on the show, for you guys having me on your show. And Chris won't show up too much. But anyway, I love y'all, and thank y'all for having me on the show.
Oh, yeah, Kai, much respect, because you bring the old school flavor to the show, and I appreciate that. And Chris only did one show with him, and it seemed like since I've been on, he's been ducking. Yeah, he's been ducking me.
What's that old song? I be running.
Right, like, Chris, why are you ducking me? It's been a month now, my brother, and, you know, I'll be on the show what you want.
When you couldn't be here because you was on the road with ASAP, and then Chris want to pop up.
Right. So there you go. So, Chris, stop ducking your boy.
Right.
You already know Chris Paul, he's okay. He's not a top 5 point guard. Not even a point guy, but just stop ducking me. We're here. Me and Chris Webber, we're here for you. We're here for you.
Well, definitely, fellas, thank you for joining. Heck of a show. Great things coming from ASAP. Please continue to stay tuned in. Like, share, and subscribe. New shows are constantly being rolled out. Roku, the AAF, the arena football that we got going on. Just great things. Marcus, I know you was down there doing the thing.
Yes.
So definitely thank you for the sacrifices that you made for the network, for the people. Definitely. We salute y'all. I was about to say, what is that? It's the light. I thought my elbows are super ashy. I'm like, my God. That's just the light. It ain't my elbows.
Yo, keep the elbow down, bro.
Yeah. That was a bad look for a minute. I got to clear that up. It's not ash, I promise you. But y'all have a good evening. Have a great weekend. We got some great college basketball going on.
Yes.
Out to South Carolina, who beat Louisville earlier. I have not checked to see. I know UConn was up when I last looked, so I'm not sure on the women's side. And UConn is up 2 going into the 4th. So if you guys once you guys get done watching us, definitely tune over, support those ladies. And then we got some big college basketball games coming on. So the championship will be finished by the time we come on Friday. We may have to spend a little time in the college ranks. Shout out whoever it is. I hope it's Coach K that goes off into the sunset. But we will see what happens. But fellas, thank you, and y'all have a great night.
Thank y'all.
Peace. Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays.